Okay guys, we are going to make a quick video. We're not really going to show you how to do this, we're going to explain it though, and I'm going to explain what happened. This is my evap line for my fuel system, which basically, from my understanding, is attached to your fuel system. This is a port where you can actually bleed off the fuel system. This isn't for the fuel rail. The fuel rail still has a bleed off, which I can show you here. Let's go outside real quick and then we'll come back to that. So when you come out here, let's pop my hood and we will show you the bleed off for the fuel rail, because they're two different things. So let's go through that real quick. Okay, so right here, right up in here, if you look right there, there's a little black cap, and that is a bleed off for your fuel rail. Okay, but the evap, if you're looking at the engine, it's to the driver's side. It attaches right here to the purge valve, it looks like, and then it goes, I don't remember exactly where. I think it goes over and attaches to the motor or something like that. I can't remember exactly where it goes to. Maybe one of my parts that's not in here, a radiator or something. So anyways, it's called an evap line. And when you're working on it, you have to understand what I did. Let's go back in here. What I did is I had not noticed, but this piece was sitting in the rail of where the hood comes down, and I didn't notice it, and I slammed it down to see if it was going to shut when I put the hood back on. See how this has the gray connector? Well, on this end, I broke it. I busted it off. This is no longer any good, and because it has to do a fuel system, you cannot just like jerry rig some shit here. It's just, you can't do that. You can't tape that on. You can't do all that stuff because it's going to be under pressure. So what the repair is you cut it right here a little bit short, because obviously, I mean, you could remake this bend, but it's hard to unattach it here and reattach it. So what you do is you come down here, you cut it short, and the trick is you get this kit here. Okay, so we'll give you this. Mine's a 5/16 line, so you look right here, 5/16 line, 5/16 connector. Okay, and it's super long, so you don't need the whole thing. And let's let me open this up. Here's the part number. Okay, if you need to know, I found this one at Napa. It's a 734923 quick disconnect. Okay, and the way this works is you're gonna let's open this up real quick. You're gonna have all these parts in here, and what you're gonna do is, if I can get all this out real quick. So what you're doing is you're going to have, these two are the main parts that you need. So the way these work is you just push them in and they pull off. Just like this one, you just push it in and it pulls off, right? But they just look a little different. They upgrade it, it looks a little more sturdy. So this right here is your connector, but it's really hard to push this into this tube. So the trick is you cut your piece, you get your piece, you know, where you need it, like so, and then you cut it off about the same as what you had. And the trick here, guys, is when you're repairing this, to make it easier, is you want to put these ends into a cup of hot water, like when you're doing a mouth guard, right? So you dip the end in hot water, it softens it, then that allows you to shove this ribbed metal into it easier. And then after you get it connected and both butted against the metal here in the center, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a heat gun and you're gonna shrink this tubing around the ribs, just as these connections look. So this is basically a rigid shrink tube, almost like the heat shrink for electric, but it's a lot more rigid, more solid, as you can see. And basically that is the fix for your evap line. Now, you know, the other option is you can go to like Pick and Pull or a junkyard. You may find this whole line for $5. This right here is like $20. So this is a $20 repair versus a $5 repair finding it at the junkyard. But I didn't want to have to go to the junkyard and hunt for this. I'm not in the best of health right now. I'm in and out the hospital. I'm getting fixed. I have a surgery coming up soon. So I'm not really feeling up to going out, even though these just pop right off. I just didn't want to deal with the hunting it down in the right, you know, right length and bends and, you know, all that nonsense, because it could be different between like the 350s and the 454s. I'm not exactly sure, but instead of getting into all that, I bought this for $20, and I'm not against it, because it also gave me the chance to show you guys that if you can't find this at the junkyard, you can still repair this. There is a repair, and this is the repair. And they're at O'Reilly's, AutoZone. Those two places just didn't have one in the right size for me. So I ended up at Napa, where I find my odds and ends, because they're great for that. There's also another little piece in here, but I'm not exactly sure yet why they add this piece in. I've never done this type of repair yet, but the guy at Napa gave me the pointer of using the hot water for the ends, so I'm just passing along the tip to you guys, and that way you're not having trouble just shoving this in there, because it's really difficult to get those ribs to go in there, you know, and not split the end possibly, or break it, crack it. So that's the secret. I'm sure you could probably just heat it, you know, get it soft with a heat gun, but then you chance maybe shrinking this before you have this in. So the secret's just do a cup of hot water like you're doing a mouth guard, you know. Warm this up a little, just, you know, dip in there on and off a little bit. Don't leave it in there to where it shrinks on you, and then shove this into your end, shove it into your other end, and then once you get them to butt, heat shrink it. All right, guys, you know, I want to also explain, we always say peace and prosperity. It's not because I'm a hippie per se. It's because I believe in positivity and uplifting, not in negativity and putting people down. So that's why we do our peace and prosperity to everybody. But in reality, I'm just as much as a redneck as any old boy out there. Grew up on a horse ranch for the first part of my good life as a kid. Run around the country, BB gun wars, the whole nine. Riding horses, riding dirt bikes. Grew up rough, just like any old roughneck and redneck ever done. You know, and I say roughneck according to Adam Calhoun's standards, because, you know, a roughneck can also be someone who works an oil rig, but I've never worked an oil rig, so I'm not claiming that. So don't comment saying, well, what oil rig did you ever work? Because I never worked an oil rig, and don't care to, nonetheless. Not that I think it's a shitty job, just it's not for me. So this is the evap line, 454 Vortec, 7.4 liter, you know, K3500 rig. The repair, if you decide to do like I did and be a idiot and slam your hood down on it, is this right here. All right, guys, that's what I got for you today, and we will get to more videos as we figure out what we're going to be videoing. I'm not going to show you how to repair it because it's pretty self-explanatory. Just going to explain it to you guys, give you the tip of the hot water so you're not sitting there fighting it or breaking your tube into pieces, because you know these are pretty rigid now compared to this guy because they've been in the engine getting hot. Now they're not as flexible as they used to be. So be careful when you're repairing. Always think ahead. Always, you know, when you go in your parts store, ask your fellow parts guys, hey, you know, have you ever worked on your own rig? Is there a trick to doing this? And maybe there is, and it'll save you that headache down the road. All right, guys. Peace, prosperity, all that good stuff. Uplift your fellow man and your fellow woman, and take good care of your kids. All right, bye.